Today we're going to be talking about why it's so important to shed the right lighting on your house when selling, and we're getting started right now. Welcome back, Northeast Ohio homeowners, to the series on how to prepare your Cleveland home for sale. I'm Christine Pappas, your local realtor and the host for the series. Now here's another bright idea that you might not have thought about when preparing your Cleveland home for sale, and that's lighting. Today we'll be discussing three key things: appropriate lighting, functioning lights, and safety lighting, and what that means to you when you're selling your house. Let's start with making sure your lights are functioning. You want to make sure all your light bulbs are working because you don't want to trigger a subconscious negative signal. What I mean by that is if a buyer sees a burnt out bulb, their subconscious mind will send them a signal without them even realizing that it's happening, that if the seller isn't fixing something as easy as a burnt out light bulb, well then what else aren't they fixing that could be a much larger problem? And consciously, they can jump to the conclusion that that burnt out light bulb could be the sign of a much larger problem with wiring. So while that burnt out light bulb is just a burnt out light bulb to you, it could have a much dire effect on the buyer. In addition to making sure your lights are working, you want to make sure there's appropriate lighting for each room. So for example, in the kitchen, we tend to do a lot of food prep, cooking and cleaning. So here you'd want to make sure there's sufficient bright light to work around the kitchen in. Now, attics, basements, and garages tend to be very dim or dark since there's few or no windows to let in natural light. So here you're going to want to make sure there's bright lights for people to easily view these rooms. Now, in family rooms, dining rooms, and bedrooms, you can use much softer lighting instead of bright, harsh lights. And keep in mind, dark rooms do not show well at all. So I'm not suggesting dim lighting, I'm just suggesting softer lighting. And once the house is listed, I recommend using motion activated lights by the entrance doors and inside the garage for those appointments around dusk or even after dark. You want to make sure it's safe for people to access the home. And if they can't see where they're going, well, they could easily trip or fall, and you certainly wouldn't want that to happen. Plus, it could be really off-putting to a buyer to have to wait in the dark while their agent is fidgeting with the lockbox or trying to access the house because they can't really see it in the dark. So make sure you have those motion-activated lights where it really counts. Also, make sure that when your house is on the market, the lights are easy to turn on once you enter the house. When possible, it's a really good idea for you to turn on the lights before you leave and the buyer comes in. It's easy enough to just ask that agent to turn off the lights once they're finished showing the house. And then that way your potential buyer can walk in and get the full effect of the house without having to fidget and fuss on the light switches. And if you're one of those lucky ones that has fabulous natural lighting, then open up the blinds and curtains and let the light shine through. People are really drawn to natural lighting, so they'll really appreciate having that natural light coming in. And here's another pro tip for you. Make sure your light bulbs all match in the same light fixture. Now, I know that can sound a little nitpicky to you, but again, it's one of those subconscious mind triggers that if this isn't tended to, well, then what else isn't being tended to? So when putting your best house forward, remember the lighting. Replace burnt out bulbs, use the same bulbs for the same light fixture, match the lighting for the use of the room, and install motion activated lights at the entrances and the garage. And don't forget to hit the like button on this video, hit the subscribe, and get notified of the next release because I'm putting out a lot of content to help you sell your next house or buy your next home. Thanks again for watching, and until the next video, have yourself a great day. Bye.